Welcome back to the weekly dance tutorials. We got Noah and we got Devin. And the reason why they're here is because we're gonna learn how to do some basic roboting. Okay, we gotta demonstrate here.
I'm happy that you brought me in for this because I could really use the tutorial.
Yeah, I think you could definitely work on your arm movements for roboting and being stiff at your core, which is what you are. You're pretty stiff, right?
Yeah, but I don't know how to hold myself.
That's even better. So this tutorial is gonna be a request from Andy Garcia. He asked if I could do a robot tutorial. So what is a robot? Can you tell me what a robot is?
A robot is a mechanical machine.
Yep, it's a machine. Yeah, what about you? What's a robot?
I just know robot is a machine that wears sunglasses.
Oh, okay. That's a good one too. I got you. I got the reference. So roboting is kind of like a form of animation because you want to animate yourself to look like a robot. So you're not actually a robot because you have skin, you have
organs,
your motion is very fluid. No natural human motion is very fluid, it's relaxed, right?
Ankles aren't perfect.
So the reason why it looks that way is because our joints actually allow us to bend in lots of different ways. So with robots, their joints are very limited. So you want to pretend like you can't move as much, and how would you move if you could only move certain ways, right? So you have to put yourself in the mindset of a robot to understand the movement, because really what makes it look like a robot is the simplicity, right? And the character that you play too. Sometimes it's all in the face, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you could wear sunglasses and not worry about your facial expression, right? But if you were to have no sunglasses, then you would want to kind of have a blank stare, which is really easy to do because you just got to look like you're zoning out. Like, if you notice that robots don't actually move fast, they don't move that quickly. They take their time. So we have to be very patient when we move. With patience, all it really is just waiting it out. Okay, you want to wait it out. So for example, we're going to do an exercise that's going to require lots of patience. Okay, we're going to have our bodies facing this side. Okay, and the movement is just going to be here to here. That's it. But here's the catch. You got to do it in 20 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
20 seconds. You guys ready?
Yeah.
So during these 20 seconds, I want you to think about your lives. Okay. See, I'm just kidding. So during these 20 seconds, I want you to pick a pose with your arm. It could be right here, it could be something that you can hold for 20 seconds, because you want to be like a mannequin, right? But what makes it a robot is that the mannequin can move, right? So think about it like that. Mannequins that are frozen, right? Think action figure. It doesn't move unless the owner moves the parts.
Okay.
So pretend like they moved you to some weird pose, right? You're the person that's controlling the action figure. They put you in this position, and now we're just gonna rotate. And what I want you guys to do is, you're not gonna see this on the camera, but I want your toes to move, but your heels to stay. Does that make sense? So you're pivoting on your heels like this. Watch, try it out.
You lifted your toes and
exactly, because it allows you to move and shift your weight smoothly, because you don't want to just be like, you have to step, because it takes the movement away, right? Or it adds too much to the illusion. So what you want to do is keep those heels grounded, and you want to pretend like you're on a platform that's just rotating. You know what I mean? Like a microwave. Oh, there it is. The microwave challenge, guys. We're bringing it back. Here we go. Microwave challenge. 3, 2, 1, and rotate. And 10 seconds, I think. I don't know. I think that's long enough. Okay, boom. Didn't that feel like forever?
Yeah.
But that was only actually probably like 10 or 12 seconds.
That was so difficult.
That was not even 20
So you need a lot of patience for doing the robot, okay? And that's just one of the exercises. It doesn't have, you don't actually have to go out and dance like that, but it helps you.
Just go to a club and just.
Yeah, but it helps you with patience, okay? Because with roboting, you want to have patience. So that's like an exercise that it's just slow, really slow movement, but it helps with patience because it gives you time to think about your next move. Because during this movement, you could be like, I could turn my head. I could turn my head again. I could move my arms. You know, like I can talk myself through the movement as I'm just turning. Like during this exercise, you could actually add on to it and be like,
Do like little tiny movements.
and next thing you know, it looks like super fake because you have this constant turn that's already weird, but it looks cool if you start adding like, you know what I mean? So the way you do that
Malfunction.
is here's the posture, right? Because with robot, it's all about posture and form because robots don't slouch. You know what I mean? Unless it was built to do that, but usually when you have a robot, like they already have everything perfectly balanced and structured so that they could just stand. So you want to feel like, okay, I have good posture, chest out a little bit, you know, stomach in a little bit, and you actually want to keep your core tight as you do these movements because when you flex and move, it creates a stiff movement, which is what you want. You want that clean, like angular, stiff movement. You don't want it to be loose. You know what I mean? So yeah. So hold your breath. Yeah. Flex your abs. Okay.
Kind of got to use like your muscle a little bit.
Okay.
So when you.
And then I want you guys to lean forward a little bit and stop, and then lean back up and stop. But you notice how your back has to stay straight while you do that. That's why it helps to flex your core so that it keeps your form. Does that make sense? Because if I just did it normally and didn't flex my stomach, it would just look like I'm slouching and coming back up. But if I kept it straight and moved it as one big piece, you know, like if I was like a mannequin, you're moving just this part and then this part. And it creates like a kind of like a presence almost, you know what I mean? So
I have a question.
Yes.
What about when you get to the end of your movement? What would you say is like the best way to like complete the movement?
Okay, so getting to the end of the movement, right? Once you get the movement part down, now you have to worry about the starting and the stopping. Starting the move, okay, before we stop, we have to know how to start it. So you can actually start it by starting your pose like this. And when you move, you want to actually go out at a constant speed. You want the speed of your movement to be consistent. You don't want it to be like, you know, because that's more natural, right? If you look at my arms swinging, like some parts are faster than others, some parts are slower, you know, when I'm just swinging my arms. With robot movement, you want it to be like constant, you know, consistent, because it looks unnatural, right? Mm-hmm. So to start that, you actually want to flex a little bit and push it, give it like a quick push, because you don't want it to start off slow and then fast. You want it to go fast right away. So in order to move it fast, you have to kind of give it a quick boost of energy to like push, right?
Like kind of a hit.
Yeah,
almost.
just like, yeah, you hit it a little bit, but just in the right direction. So for example, let's just do from here to here, right? This is point A, this is point B, and we're gonna just pick any speed, it doesn't matter, just keep that speed and then stop. And notice when you go up, you're slowing into that spot and stopping, you're easing into it, right? You don't wanna ease into it, you wanna actually just abrupt stop.
Yeah.
Like you want it to cut off the movement like completely, because the way a robot is programmed to move usually, like the old school robots, is just to be efficient and to go from here to here without changing up the energy, because that requires more work, you know what I mean? So if you just go like the way I stop it, it's called a dime stop, and what that is you're stopping on the dime, like it just moves, stop on the dime. So you don't want to ease in, right? You want to just go stop, stop, stop. And that's what makes it look even more fake, because usually like we don't even stop when we're just being normal humans, right? So when the moment you go from stopping part, right, movement, and then stop, movement, stop, movement, stop. It starts to look more robotic. And really all we're paying attention to is the starting and stopping, right? So that plus angles, right? The mannequin angles, like looking like we have really stiff backs. That's what creates the illusion of a robot. So another thing that you can focus on for robotics is that notice that my arm is bent a certain way, right? And if I want to move it, there's different ways to move it. You can move it like this, starting from this joint, and move it in like this, right? Psh, 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 right?
No
so
ways.
you're moving multiple joints. You're moving your elbow and your shoulder, right? Another way you can do it is picking one joint and only moving that, and you notice how the shape stays the same. Like this is locked in, so wherever I move this, it stays the same no matter where I go. So if I rotate it, it's still bent. Does that make sense? Because if you get like a toy or an action figure and you bend the arms and you move just the other part of the arm, that arm is still gonna stay bent. Does that make sense? So for example, if my head is lined up with my chest and I moved my chest somewhere, my head has to follow the same line. Like for example, it can't just separate like that, because then it's not within the what do you call it, the rules, right, quote unquote. So
I think the action figure vision, or the action figure, like really works well in
yes but that's just the style too. You don't have to always have it connected, right? You can like separate it. You know, you can move one piece at a time, and then once it gets to here, you can move it as one piece. Like you see how even if I go in a circle, my head follows the same path as my chest. So it looks like the piece is not moving, right? But then you could be like, psh, then move your head. So you can choose when to start and stop. So the way it looks trippy is when you start one thing and you stop and you move something else. You see that? So for example, we've just been doing this and stopping, this and stopping, right? So check this out. Once you go here, and the moment this stops, I want you to turn your head, okay? So move, stop, and turn. Yeah, you see how trippy that looks? It's like every time you move, stop, and turn something else, like you activate a different piece. You see? So if I moved my head and I went, see how once it stops, this moves. You're moving this to activate this, activate that, and now you have something to control. So that's another concept with robotics, is like controlling your actual like body. Like you see that a lot when they use their hands to like move stuff. Like they could be like or something. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things to play with, but just remember the basics is super important. Is the starting, stopping, right? The shape and the form, posture, right? You want to have the posture of a robot. So that just means keeping your back straight, tightening your core up when you move, and then moving one piece at a time or multiple pieces at a time. You just got to be aware that the more natural you look, the less robotic it looks. So you want to look unnatural. Okay? So that's the goal. And you want to look like you're a mannequin, or like you just want to play the part of a robot.
You want to
know what I
look
mean?
weird.
Yeah, look weird.
I hear steam coming out of you when you move, like.
Yeah, and there's dude.
Like we usually do
you
sound
can,
effects like that when we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Sound effects really help, because then it helps you visualize that. Okay, if a robot were to move to these sounds, what would it look like? You know what I mean? And another thing you could pay attention to is the weight, because there's advanced animatronics nowadays where they look real. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever been to Disneyland or something?
Yeah.
And like some of the pirates in the Pirates of the Caribbean, they actually move like pretty fluidly.
Yeah.
You know, but there's still something off about them. And it's really just like, you just have to try to pretend like you're like not human, but move like a human almost, right? So there's like really fluid animatronics where they're just like constantly moving and trying to be smooth, And then there's like your C3POs where you're just like,
Yeah. Yep.
it's very sharp. And really, I'm just changing the timing of the movement. Because like if you notice, sometimes it's like constantly flowing, but there's still parts of me that's like stiff, right? And then there's ones where it's like zip, 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 like the speed changes a little bit, you know? So you can play different parts. So it just depends on your style. Or you could just do like classic roboting where it's like, I'm street performing, you know? Like, or whatever. So there you have it. That's the robot tutorial on basic movement, basic, you know, character, and these are my students. They're probably, you know, they're on their way to being one of the greats.
Catch me on the Santa Monica Pier.
Santa Monica Pier. Hit up Marcus. You know that guy, Marcus.
Oh, is he always painted?
Yep, he's in that big old fro hat helmet thing.
Didn't Merrick do a video with him?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, he's probably done like 6.
Go to Santa Monica Pier if you want to study some roboting, because check out Marcus. He's a really dope robot, and he's over there. But anyway, thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for being a part of these tutorials and learning. I feel like you guys are already way better just from being here.
Yeah.
100%.
I feel better.
100%.
I think I went from 0 to 0.1, which is technically infinitely better.
Dude, nice. Just wait. You'll see him in one of my dance videos sooner or later. Actually, he's already been in a dance video. You might have seen it. I don't know. But he doesn't dance at all, actually. But I gave him some moves and made it appear like he was a super good dancer.
Talented. Great teacher, great dancer. Thank you.
That's a very heartfelt compliment, and I feel like it's bringing me to tears.
Oh my god.
It's bringing me. We gotta cut this guy.